Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting of Monday, October 1st, 2018. And please rise and join me in the prayer led by Reverend Isaiah Brokenleg.
Okay, good, it's working. This month has a Native American Day in it, so I thought I'd open us up with a traditional Lakota direction song. So if you can face the directions with me, we'll start off west. Wioch beatakia etuayo nitu chashila ahitu ayonke lohe. Jekiayo, Jekiayo, ahitu ayonke lohe. Turn to the north. Waziatakia etuayo, nitu chashila ahitu ayonke lohe. Jekiayo, Jekiayo, ahitu ayonke lohe. To the east. Wiochia patakia etuayo, nitu chashila ahitu ayonke lohe. Jekiayo, Jekiayo, ahitu ayonke lohe. To the south. Itochagatakia etuayo, nitu chashila ahitu ayonke lohe. Jekiayo, Jekiayo, ahitu ayonke lohe. We'll turn to complete the circle and face heavenward. Wakantakia etuayo, wakantanka echia heonke lohe. Jekiayo, Jekiayo, ahitu ayonke lohe. And lastly, we face the earth. Makatakia etuayo, unchi makaki echia heonke lohe. Jekiayo, Jekiayo, enachopta heonke lohe. Creator, we give you thanks for all you are and all you bring to us for our visit within your creation. We remember that through you we are all related and that you call us to be good relatives to one another. Send down upon those who hold office in the city of Watertown your spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Albertson?
Here.
Solom? Roby?
Here.
Thorson?
Here.
Billhauer?
Here.
Bueller? Here. Manti? Here. Y? Absent? Lallam?
Here.
Danforth?
Here.
Thank you.
The first item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. We have a motion by Solom and a second by Manti.
I'd like to recuse myself from items 1 because of item C, as well as items 6 and 7. Thank you.
Noted. Thank you. Any others? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 2 is public comment. This is the time set aside for anyone who would like to speak on something that's not on the agenda. Don't see anybody, so we'll move on to item 3, approval of agenda. Is there a motion and second?
So moved.
Moved by Vilhauer, second by Bueller. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 4 is appointment of Pastor Hank Rosso as the fire chaplain for Watertown Fire Rescue. Is there a motion and second for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Albertson, second by Roby. And any discussion? I think we've got Don Rowland here to tell us a little bit about it.
Am I missing it here? Do I got it?
I think it's.
Thank you. Over the last few years at the fire department, we've learned that there's been many incidents throughout our careers, Doug and mine, where we've needed the help of a fire chaplain. And we've determined that there's some specific need for a fire chaplain. Specifically speaking, fire incidents that, death within the fire department, injuries, family members that could be impacted by members of the fire department at a specific scene. So we've determined that there's probably a really good need for that, and Pastor Hank Rosso would be a great addition for the department, and he would serve as an appointed volunteer for our department. Any other questions?
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is presentation and acceptance of 2017 audit from William Neal Company, PC. Kristen?
Thank you, Mayor. During the committee, we had a little overview of the CAFR, but at this time, I'll have Troy with William Neal come forward, and he'll give a presentation of how the audit went, and then if you guys have any questions of him, and at the end, then I would ask that council take action on accepting the audit of 2017. So,
Okay.
Troy?
There's really not a lot to really discuss tonight. I just want to go through a couple things. The first one is our summary of the results of our audit, which is included in our schedule of current audit findings and question costs, which would be page 142 of the CAFR, or the financial report. The first 3 are applicable to the financial statement audit. There was an unmodified opinion issued on the financial statements for each opinion unit, which means there was a clean opinion. Nothing was found. There were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that were disclosed during our audit procedures, and there was no non-compliance which was material to the financial statements. Also, since the city received more than $750,000 of financial assistance, we were also required to do what's known as a single audit, which means we had to test the city's major programs. The program that we did test was the Airport Improvement Program, and there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies disclosed regarding the program, and we issued an unmodified opinion on it, which meant it was a clean opinion, nothing was noted. Also, there weren't any audit findings that were required to be included under the uniform guidance, which is what the single audit is, we follow for the single audit. Are there any questions on that? The other thing I'd like to just go through is the corrected and uncorrected misstatements paragraph of the letter Kristen had sent out to you. It's addressed to you, the city council, and the utility board. Professional standards require us to accumulate all known and likely misstatements that we identified during our audit procedures, other than those that are considered trivial, and communicate them to the appropriate level of management, which would be you. The attached audit difference evaluation forms are uncorrected items that we had noted But however, since they're considered immaterial, no adjustments have been made to the financial statement. No misstatements were detected during the audit that were adjusted, which means audit adjustments that were considered to be material to the financial statements. Are there any questions on that or anything?
Councilman Vilhauer?
I do have a question of you, Troy or Chris. And I know one of the adjustments that was passed was unrecorded or understated accounts receivable. I know we've talked about this in the past as far as, maybe doing some things differently so we track things so they don't slip through the cracks. Have we addressed that? So I'm not sure who would address that too. I guess probably you, Kristen.
Oh boy, there it is. So as we talked to with the thought of getting the new software, that's going to be one thing that's definitely going to help in that. But in the meantime, what we're doing in our office is the assistant finance officer, Chris, is currently working on establishing more of an Excel sheet. So each time that we come out of the council and there's any type of an agreement, it's notated and it's marked by month. So going forward, we know what to bill out each month. So that's kind of our way of handling it up until we get a software that can kind of keep track of things a little bit better. So.
And just so I didn't mislead whoever might be tuning into this, it was an immaterial amount that, we're not talking large dollar amounts here, but it did catch my eye in light of prior conversations that we had. So thank you for addressing that.
The audit report has been approved by the South Dakota Department of Legislative Audit. And I'd just like to thank Kristen and the employees of the finance department, everybody that helped. And based on our audit, I would think they're doing a good job. And are there any other questions?
Doesn't look like it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion before I ask for a motion? Okay, I will look for a motion to accept the report. And got a motion by Vilhauer, second by Bueller. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 6 is application for a transfer of ownership of a retail on-sale liquor license from Ladd's Toy Company, doing business as Goss Opera House, 100 East Kemp Avenue, to Friends of the Goss Opera House, Inc., doing business as Goss Opera House, 100 East Kemp Avenue. So I will look for a motion and second for approval. Motion by Bueller, second by Lallam, and I will open the public hearing. Is anyone here who would like to speak about this? See none, I will close the public hearing. And are there any questions? And I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 7 is application for a transfer of ownership of a retail on-sale liquor license from R&R Butcher LLC, inactive, 1462 South Lake Drive, to Dakota Butcher, doing business as Dakota Butcher, 1923 Willow Creek Drive, Suites 1 and 2. Look for a motion and second for approval. Moved by Manti, second by Bueller, and I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak about this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 8 is resolution number 18-45, recommending revisions to the 3rd Judicial Court's fine and bond schedule regarding violations of the revised ordinances of the City of Watertown. Look for a motion second for approval. Moved by Lallam, second by Solom, and I'll let Attorney Matt Roby tell us about this.
Thank you, Mayor. Every so often, or I guess periodically, the presiding judge of the Third Circuit sets the fine and bond schedule for violations of our revised ordinances. Basically, what that means is if somebody's given a citation and they choose to just plead guilty, send in their fine, this is the amount that they would pay. The reason this is before you today is the legislature this past session increased the cost associated with violations of misdemeanors and felonies throughout the state by $2.50. That additional cost goes to the Crime Victims Assistance Fund. It previously was $2.50. Now it's increased to $5. So what you'll see in your packet, all of the fines have stayed the same. It's just that the costs associated with those fines, the court costs, have all increased by $2.50. This will then go to the presiding judge of the Third Circuit, and he'll issue this as an order, essentially.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Councilman Vilhauer?
Just curious, Matt, let's say that we did not agree with these and we express that disagreement to the judge, what happens?
Well, we actually put forth this suggestion.
Oh, so we put forth the suggestion?
Yep, so our ordinance, so for example, just the first one, false ID, our ordinance provides that can be penalized by up to $200 or $30 or 30 days in jail. But we have determined over the years that we would, if somebody got a citation for a false ID, they could just send in their $100 plus $62.50, plead guilty, and not have to have a court appearance, essentially. So what this allows people to do is to send in their ticket with a check and be done with it. If we chose not to, that's certainly something we could explore. The police department has looked over these recently and determined that they don't see any need to increase the fines at this time, but that's certainly something that we can explore. Ultimately, it's up to the judge to issue that order, but it comes with a recommendation from us. So,
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 9 is ordinance number 18-20, Budget Supplement 2018. And this is a second reading, and I'll look for a motion and second for approval. Moved by Manti.
Second.
Second by Lallam. All right, Kristen, you want to tell us about this?
Thank you. This is a budget supplement to the 2018 budget. I kind of went over it during the first reading, but I'll just touch on it again. All of these except for the library, the fire department's $5,000 had a revenue. To the other side, it was a donation. And then the street improvements, the ones you see there, that is the street improvement, the special assessments. So there again, you're seeing the revenue side come back on those. The library one is the one for the boiler. That's going to cover the boiler that was needed. And then the gun range is just to kind of for the accounting side of it to make sure we have that in there, even though the dollars won't really be necessary because we had some other projects come in short. And then the land was actually a purchase that was already done. That was using the restricted cash that was set up for the land. But this is to put the budget dollars in there. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? See none, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 10 is the first reading of ordinance number 18-21, amending chapter 2.01 regarding allowable locations for special alcoholic beverage licenses. No actions required here, but I think this needs some explanation. So, Matt, will you tell us about it?
yes, thank you, Mayor. The impetus for this ordinance change comes about basically over the years. Some of you are probably familiar with this. We've had events throughout our town that we've wanted to hold in certain areas of town, which the community seems to have no issue with. But the way our ordinance was written previously required us to go get what we called a temporary zoning change, and then followed that by granting a conditional use, and follow that by issuing a special event permit. So for example, Zoofari, in the past they've had to temporarily rezone from ag to commercial for 4 hours, get a conditional use for those 4 hours, and then come to the council to get a special event alcohol license. So what this ordinance change would do would essentially eliminate that requirement for that rezone process, the conditional use process. And if somebody seeks a special event alcohol license, wherever it is at in the community, it's no longer required to receive a conditional use, essentially. So it would still come forward to you. If it was in a location that you as the council felt was inappropriate, you could turn it down, but it would just no longer have to go to the Board of Adjustment to receive a conditional use.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, this seems like it will really simplify matters. Item number 11 is consideration of change order number 1, final with Bituminous Paving Inc. for the 2018 seal coating project number 1815 in the amount of $2,230.98 for a total contract amount of $175,633.98. I'll look for a motion and second for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Albertson, second by Danforth, and this did receive the recommendation of the committee prior. Heath, do you want to explain briefly what this is?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the change order before you tonight is the final change order for this project. The nominal amount of $2,230.98 is more or less accounting for the closeout of the project and the actual quantities per the contract pricing. And some of the seal coating area was a little bit larger as we'd see slight overruns on projects on certain bid items. So that's what that's accounting for.
All right. Any questions or comments? See none, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 12 is consideration of change order number 1 with Crestone Builders, Inc. for the Uptown Alley Reconstruction Project number 1807 in the amount of $1,407.03 for a total contract amount of $196,228.03. And this also received the recommendation of the committee. Is there a motion and second for approval? Moved by Mantee, second by Lallam. Heath, would you please tell us about this one?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this change order is in relation to some additional excavation that was needed on the alley paving project. And also the primary reason for these increasing costs is for tree removal. The paving limits encroached into the root structure of a pretty substantial tree, and it was decided to take that entire tree down rather than compromise it or having the potential of it falling down later because of the root structure being compromised with the paving. So that's what the brunt of that cost is for.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? See none, look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 13 is consideration of change order number 3 final with Rounds Construction for the 2018 Watertown Regional Landfill Stormwater Improvements Project number 1818 in the amount of $2,887.14 for a total contract amount of $419,158.57. This also received the recommendation of the committee, and I'll look for a motion second for approval. Moved by Lallam, second by Roby. Heath, would you please explain this one?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, this one's similar to the street chip sealing final change order where it's really just a balancing out of final quantities on this project. There's a little bit of overrun on some of the bid items that we had contract pricing for. Some of it was related to sediment removal in the sedimentation pond and silt fence work on this project, and that is what accounts for this additional cost.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 14 is authorization for the mayor to sign Watertown Development Company pledge. And I'll look for a motion and second for approval of that.
So moved.
Moved by Bueller, second by Albertson. And we'll have a little discussion on this. we have Chris Shilkin, the director of the Watertown Development Company, here to tell us about this. And I'm really excited about Watertown Development Company's new program of work for the next 5 years. It's got significant changes from the way things have been done in the past. And so I'm really looking forward to going through the next 5 years. And I want to point out the budget included $2019, and the Watertown Development Company is asking all of the supporters to commit to a 5-year pledge. And we're doing that here, but we have to have the note in there that it is specifically understood and agreed that each year's financial obligations are approved and authorized by the City Council then holding office. And should the City Council fail or refuse to approve or authorize the funds pledged hereunder, such failure or refusal shall be without penalty to the City of Watertown. That's because this council, this group of people, can't make a promise for the next 5 years of obligations. So we've done it for 2019, and we are pledging the same amount for 5 years. So good faith that we would do that, but just so everyone understands. All right, Chris, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. We certainly appreciate the past support and the continued support moving forward. As the Mayor highlighted, this plan, as you probably noticed, is a lot expanded from our past campaigns and our past programs of work, and we're very excited about that to bring kind of a new look to the Watertown Development Company and the projects we are working on. So I believe you should have all received the program of work by email to review, and here to answer any questions that you guys may have and go from there.
All right, did everyone get a chance to look it over? Came by email. It's not in the packet. It's not officially released yet, but could you just maybe highlight the basic work areas?
Sure. One thing to be clear, I guess, is, our main focus in the past has been working on attracting new business, and that will still be a major focus. Out of there, I think we've put more emphasis on workforce development, partnering with LATI more and doing some workforce issues as well as some affordable housing initiatives that we will need for the workforce as well. So doing all those things with some emphasis on downtown redevelopment, just kind of make it a all-encompassing plan that new economic development ways are going. So we're kind of getting up to speed with everybody else is doing.
Right, and it's a lot more comprehensive than their program of work has been in the past, since it's not just devoted to industrial development. It's holistic in its approach to all of the aspects of economic development in our community. So any questions? All right, I will look for action then. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Oh, Councilman Vilhauer?
Chris, just curious, are your tours filled up for tomorrow morning?
There's still room. Thanks for bringing that up. Still room on the trolley. First one leaves at 9 o'clock from the Commerce Center, and the second one leaves at 11. There's still room on both. You could, at this time, probably to show up in the morning, there'll be room, but thanks for bringing that up. Good point.
Item number 15 is authorization for the mayor to sign an agreement with Shred It for shredding services at City Hall. Look for a motion second for approval. Moved by Roby, second by Lallam. Kristen, would you please explain what this is?
Yes, thank you. This is just so that we can obviously have shredding services of items. The finance office has personnel, stuff like that. This allows us to not have, we currently have a little shredder in the office, and as well as I think the mayor and the attorney do as well, but I think it's getting to the point now where we'd prefer to just have it, you put your documents in and once a month they show up. So this agreement covers 3, boxes, whatever you want to call them. In yeah, there you go, throughout City Hall, and they'll come here once a month. So
Councilman Lallam?
Kristen, these are a locked box, I would assume,
Yes.
so no one can get into any confidential information that
That
we
is
have,
correct.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Councilman Vilhauer?
So we haven't utilized this sort of service in the past?
No, we have not.
Oh my goodness, I remember, I remember back when our sons were young, we had a little shredder for our office, and that was their job, was to do the shredding, and that just got to be way more than the mom and dad care to handle, but that brings back memories.
Well, yeah, we've been doing that. Anything else? All right, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? None. Are there any liaison member reports? None. We have no reason to go into executive session, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn. A motion by Lalum, second by Danforth. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.